Welcome to the Way to Go podcast. Bill McMinn, Mark Hostetler here from Eagleville Bible Church, talking about freedom because Mark wanted to talk about freedom. Fine, Mark.
I don't know.
It's Independence Day. It's Independence Day.
Yesterday was at the time of this recording. I mean, at the time of this airing,
it's Independence Day yesterday. At the time of this airing. And it's July 4th, and it's a celebration of independence. Some people don't think they're free because there are rules. That always makes me laugh. We're not free, especially with Roe v. Wade. Oh, my goodness, man. There's I don't want to talk about Roe v. Wade today. I'm not. Okay, so don't think, is this show about Roe v. Wade? Not, if it is, not intentionally, no. But, so I just see stupid comments that, are worth just throwing out there because sometimes, I like to do the podcast. So I'm just kind of like my brain's working on stuff I see. And it's like somebody has this post up. Might as well not even celebrate Independence Day because we're not free.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, okay, we're not free. That's like saying, oh, there's a speed limit sign. We're not free.
It's crazy.
Somebody put a rule, you know what I mean? They put a tax on it. We're not free just because there's a rule or a law. No, you're giving freedom to life. A lot of these things, we talk about women's right, reproductive man. This whole argument of pro-choice and abortion really is couched in these, beautiful, glowing, flowery terms of women's reproductive rights, and as if something's getting stepped on. All we're saying is, yeah, we get that. We get people have rights and reproductive rights and so on and so forth. We're just saying rights should be extended to the unborn. That's all we're saying because they're human.
Exactly. What about the baby's rights?
Right. What about babies? That's all we're saying. I mean, I'm not ripping on people. I'm not arguing with people. It's not something I spout off a lot about. But when I see just these ridiculous arguments that come by, like I don't have freedom because the states are going to have the right to decide what abortion laws are. And by the way, just so you know, I read a great article on this that actually because they're going to have a fit if a state says abortion up to 12 weeks or whatever. I wouldn't care if they eliminated it, but I don't think we should be killing kids in the womb. But let's say the state says it's up to 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks. Well, guess what? Ireland, Germany, lots of countries have rules like that.
Yeah, we're falling in line now.
Right. The countries that don't have rules like that, China, North Korea, Vietnam, those are the countries, some of the most godless, barbaric countries on the planet. Yeah, they don't have rules. So to me, it's just a balancing out as back to what things more should look like.
Actually,
at least
some of them are mandatory abortions. Depending on what sex it is and all of that.
I'm saying this country. I'm just talking about. I'm just talking about America. I'm saying for this country to say that we don't have freedoms because the states are going to make these decisions, I think is absolute nonsense. And then the other one I've heard about, well, what is it going to cost? I'm like, I don't know. What does it cost for elderly people to be in a nursing home? Are we going to make decisions about life based on what the cost is? Come on. I mean, seriously, like some of your arguments on the other side of this come across as somebody like me as ridiculous, scary. I'm like, okay, is this the way you're going to think about me? Like, it's not cost effective to keep me alive anymore. So my life has no value. Is this what it is? Is this what it's going to be about? Oh, hey, sorry, poor kids, it's going to cost too much for you. We don't have the money, so you don't get a chance to live. Rich kids, you do. Is that what it's going to come to? I don't know. I don't like some of these arguments that I hear. I get pretty fired up about it.
I think, Bill, the victory of this overturning Roe v. Wade, the real victory here is that you actually are now putting it back into the hands of the states and the people, which the founders, when they did this, that's what their whole intention was, is to give people a republic democracy, right? Something where people can vote in what they want in their state, I mean, this is victory. This is getting us in the right direction as a nation. Get it out of the hands of these federal, politicians, and let's, at local levels, let's say, okay, this group, we want freedom. We don't want any abortion, so get rid of it.
Right. Most states are not saying eliminate, they're saying limit.
Yeah.
That's the argument, limit. Now, it doesn't matter what side of the equation you fall on. I'm just stating facts, what the facts are. And sometimes we are so emotional in this country that we don't really want to look at the facts. Now, the facts are there used to be a day when this country, I believe this is what they said, that black people were 3/5 human, and that's why we were allowed to enslave them and treat them the way that we did. They weren't fully human, which we know is absolute 100% not scientific and is nonsense. For us to say that a life in the womb is not human is equally nonsense. What are you saying? Life in the womb, what is it to you? Is it like 40% human, 20% human? Like, what are we saying? Because that's as ridiculous as that argument. That is human. Yeah. That is life. And all we're saying is, I don't even understand why there's an argument. Why wouldn't you want to protect life? Why wouldn't we be interested in life and individuals?
That's why it's hard for me to understand this whole Jane's Revenge thing, because they're going after women's pregnancy centers.
Right.
What do you know about women's pregnancy centers? That the women come in there and they get help in their situation. They get resources. They get free ultrasounds that let them know if their pregnancy is even valid anymore, if they've miscarried, if the abortion might not even be necessary. You might have miscarried already. They're giving the women that come in there information, resources, hope, and that's who you want to destroy?
Right.
Wow. I mean, that is idiocy to me. You know what I mean?
Listen, I'll guarantee on the right wing and the left wing, when you get out to the tip feathers, it gets probably pretty radical both ways you go. But I would say for me, I believe in life. I believe in the sanctity of life. I believe that God formed David in the womb. It says in Psalm 139 that he's fearfully and wonderfully made. And I promise you this, David was David before he was born. And you were you before you were born. And I was me before I was born. I didn't become me the day I was born. I was me before I got born. And let's look at these facts too. Hospitals, ACMC, last I knew, does not perform abortions unless it's a medical condition. That's and of course, we'd all agree that, health of the mother, lesser of two evils, obviously save the mother, right? I mean, that's how I would go. But you look at that, they won't do it. Health coverage, medical coverage does not cover abortion. You guys realize that? Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Your healthcare provider will not even pay for that. That money has to come out of your own pocket.
Wow.
So look at that kind of stuff. That should tell you something, that this is not a normal thing that's considered part of the health community and what they want to do. When hospitals won't do it, when your medical providers won't pay for it, won't sanction it. Come on.
I don't know how it's not malpractice, to be honest with you. They took a vow to these doctors or whatever, they took a vow to protect life and to do everything they can. I don't know how this is malpractice. This isn't malpractice. When you have a heartbeat, when you know there's blood running through veins of a person, in that womb even, how is it even possible that these people can get away with it? Well, I don't even understand.
The possibility, I think that one of the problems that we have in this country is just and not only the country, me too. I mean, we all have this issue. We have a phenomenal ability to justify things.
Oh my gosh.
And we couch it in terms, we repaint it. We don't look at it for what it is. As one person, a young man was talking to me about an article that was written actually, I think about 10 years ago. And the guy was pro-choice actually writing the article. He said, but any argument that is not a life that you are taking is not valid, because it absolutely, science knows 100% that is 100% a human life you're taking. Pro-choice would say the mother has the right to kill the child, but let's not pretend that's not a child. Let's not pretend that's not human. So freedom, to me, to extend rights to the unborn is a natural thing. For you to say, what about my rights? What about my rights? Okay, what about the child's rights? That's what we're saying.
Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
It's not an unloving argument. It's not a bad argument. For people who want to rip on people, who want to protect life, come on. I don't even see how you could even look down. You might not agree with that.
Right.
You may not agree with me on this, but the fact of the matter is, having a guy who wants to protect life is certainly not a bad thing.
No.
I mean,
Galatians 5 comes to my mind.
Yeah.
Galatians 5:13. You, brothers and sisters, were called to be free. Do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love.
Right.
I think, as a nation, we need to come back to that place where we're looking for it. And like you said, we're not trying to justify bad behavior. That's indulging the flesh.
Right.
Look to serve each other, to point each other back to those biblical, godly principles that this nation was founded on.
Right.
Let's get back there. Let's use our freedom to uphold godly values again.
Well, you look at when God's in you, number one, you're going to do what's right, and number two, you're going to love. One thing I don't like about our country today, or that I'm concerned about, is the lack of love in the nation. We're not concerned. And to me, I'm going to be nice to people who don't agree with me. I've seen people, I've seen a lot of people raging, a lot, especially the gals on Instagram, raging about this. I've not unfollowed them. I've not argued with them. I don't say anything. I just see it. I'm going to still like them. I can still be your friend and not agree. And I think in this country, we're losing that ability to love people even when we disagree with people. Yeah. And how am I going to reach people? Like, how am I going to reach you to my side if I don't love you? If I just say, get out of here, I don't want to hear from you. I don't care about you. You don't agree with me. I just don't know if that's the tack that I want to take, because like it says here, we're free. Use your freedom to serve others in love.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to be doing. Not the the devil wants to divide us all as a country. That's what the newspapers want to do. Media wants to do, because that sells papers.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Is to create division, to just foment it and whip it up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be part of that.
Nope. I want to use my freedom to serve. I love serving people, you know, and I know you do too.
Right.
And we have a lot of people in this church that love to just get involved and be a part of just serving people, and being a part of our community in a good way, in a positive way, one that upholds life and people's happiness. And you're trying to just make your community better. That's what Christ wants. He wants us to be a light in our communities, you know what I mean? And to point people to, for example, the Vine ministry. We are free as a nation to be able to distribute things to other people. We're not depending on our government to do it. We're willing to come alongside people that are in need and give them food and help them in their situations. We have that freedom.
Right.
I don't want to be yoked again to slavery.
How about this? If you want to talk about freedom in our country, that it says that we're free to serve one another. Serving takes a certain amount of effort and work. And one of the things in our country, we're not serving. Sometimes we're not even. Sometimes people aren't even working. I mean, they're a complete consumer. Hey, I want to consume. I want everything done for me. I want services provided for me. I don't really want to get out there and be productive. Our society is based on production. It's based on us getting out there and contributing to the society in a positive way. And that's one thing that I think that we need to get back to. I see a lot of struggle. I see a lot of business struggle. I don't have the answer, because I don't really know what everyone's doing every day. But when you have so many businesses struggling for workers, restaurants and restaurant owners that I talk to, other business owners that I speak to, they can't find anything. Other pastors at other churches I talk to having a very difficult time finding ministers.
Wow.
It's just all across the board. I mean, this seems to be an epidemic problem in this country where I would want to be in my life. I want to be productive. I want to be helping people. And so, people ask me now, well, Bill, someday you'll retire, right? I'm like, yeah, I mean, someday. I'm not thinking like, hey, 65, pull the chute, I'm out, tough. I want to serve, I want to help people. And when that day ends, or when I become ineffective anymore, I don't know when that's going to happen. But I don't plan on just not doing anything. Yeah, and our guys in our church that are retiring, that I know they're retiring, I'm hoping that they'll come alongside of us and serve, and we'll be able to do things together and accomplish ministry together. Those things are things that I know that I'm really looking forward to, actually, thinking about a couple of our deacons that are retiring, either have retired already or this month. Yeah, they're right there, and I think it's a pretty sweet thing. So looking forward to seeing those guys.
And they will, because they have servant hearts, man. I mean, these people are incredible in our church and in our people I know that just do. But I think you're right about your assessment of the nation as a whole. Anyways, it's all about what's about me. You know what I mean? I mean, what can I get out of this? And it's such a counter to what the founders had in mind when they started this thing. Their whole thing was let's be free of tyranny. We don't want to be under the tyranny of that old system. We want to be free. We want to be able to exercise our rights without having to this yoke of bondage over us. And I'm so afraid that we're going back that direction. We actually wanting the government to control us.
Right.
It's like, why don't you want to exercise your own personal liberty?
I'm starting to ask questions, because when you look at the level at which, politically speaking, with the current office holder, the young people in huge droves are unhappy.
Yeah.
So to that, hopefully you'll start realizing, we need to, as a country, be taking care of our needs. We need to be working. We need to be productive. Mm-hmm. That's how it works.
Yep.
Not just sitting around waiting for people to, because it makes a wreck of things. You look at and I don't care what administration has been, the policies of our recent years have created an incredible amount of inflation, incredibly high costs. People are super struggling right now, and I feel for them. And not that, we can do anything about that other than say, hey, feel for you, if you're struggling. But I know for me, I just know my job is, Bill, go help people.
Yep.
Bill, go serve others in love. That's my job. Now, we live in a world that's very much, I think some of the problems that we have with divisiveness is it becomes very easy to spout our views on social media and to slam other people because you don't see them. You're not face to face. You're not looking at their eyes. Mm-hmm. You don't see what their intent is, what their heart is. And it's easy just to slam them like they're a thing. And my thinking is we need to break away from social media to some degree and start getting to know people personally. Yeah. Finding out who are these people? Who are you really? Because God did not intend for us to sit behind some phone screen or computer screen barking away at people or even laughing away with people. We should be getting to know people. So I'm on a, kind of a bent and a mission that way. Even some of the people I know on social media. Last Saturday night, I met a couple guys, my wife and I did, and the one guy's son, and we all went and did something together. And then Friday night, there's a young lady, Jerry and I are going to go meet. Only know her through social media, but she's a avid hiker, avid kayaker, like a go miles type, hiking, go miles type kayaking. So she's super into it. And she goes, hey, I just want to go with somebody, I want to go. I don't want to go alone all the time. And, if I go, that'd be great. And she's all excited because I told her, hey, Friday night, we're going to come up, your way. We're going to meet you. And she's looking forward to it. And we're looking forward to it too. That's personal. lasting impact kind of stuff. You know what I mean? These things behind a screen or whatever, they might have their place for 5 minutes. Right. To give you that little encouragement or whatever boost, or your point of view or whatever, but that's not lasting. There's no lasting impact happening there. That's true. I mean, you make a great point because it's the in-person relationships. When I think about this week, what have I really thought about? I've thought a lot more about the conversations I had with those two guys than I have thought about in the in-person conversations than I have thought about pictures that got put up. Yeah. As far as lasting impact, I would tend to agree. But we have to be in person. And so our freedom is for others. A lot of times, I didn't understand this. I thought that, I told my dad I couldn't wait to get out of the house because then I'd be free and I could do what I wanted. And my dad was like, son, what are you talking about, man? And he goes, you're not going to be, your boss is going to have rules for you. The government has rules for you. Yep. He said, there's always rules. He said, freedom doesn't mean you don't have rules. No. I'm like, what? I thought that was like crazy, but I wasn't an anarchist. Like I wouldn't have even thought in those terms. I wouldn't have thought in no rules, anarchy. I guess I just didn't really think about it. I just thought I'm going to do what I want. Well, yeah, I can listen to music, but I can't, in my yard, but I can't keep my neighbors up at 3 a.m. Mm-hmm. Sure. I mean, my rights end when I'm impinging on you. Right, I got rid of one of my sound systems. Actually, I had it for years in my office, but my goodness, every time I walk down the hallway, I hear boom, 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 boom. Everyone hears boom, 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 boom from Bill's big bass. I finally took it apart and bought like a little speaker because I'm like, well, that's not fair, that everyone has to. Well, you were free to do it. What's that? You were free to do it. The thing is you use your freedom and thought about the other person and how it's affecting the other person, and you use that knowledge to freely make a decision to serve us in the office, to make it quieter. You know, it didn't bother me, by the way. I didn't care one bit, but that's how freedom works. Right. You know what I mean? So I like use this now. I like big pasture freedom where you just give me a boundary that protects me from, if I go out of that fence, I'm going to hit the road and I'm going to die. You know what I mean? Give me a big pasture kind of freedom where I'm free to move and do everything I can inside of this. Just keep me from getting hurt out here. You know what I mean? Well, that's where God's statements of reality come in. Yeah. Because those are the boundaries for the best possible life. I mean, the people who are happy are the ones who are following God and doing the right thing. And a lot of times, we'll find, if we find ourselves maybe a sense of dissatisfaction, it's probably because we are maybe envying things we shouldn't be looking for things that aren't meant for us. And so that might cause that. So, when you're really on the path and doing the things God wants you to do, you are certainly going to be a happy person. Absolutely. I agree 100%. God never, ever, ever intended to take away our happiness with giving us loss. Right. He did it to make us holy. Right. And when we're holy, we're always going to be happy. Right. It's a byproduct of holiness. Right. And what is holiness? Reality. Holiness is not being pious, self-righteous. It's reality. Reality is being honest works. Yeah. Not stealing works. Working hard works. Loving others works. These are, we can couch it in these churchy terms and people don't relate to it. No, don't think just churchy terms when it comes to Christianity. Like, oh, holy, can't be holy. Forget that. Think about this. Statements of reality are, we're supposed to love one another. We're supposed to love God. That's what it's all about. We're supposed to be kind to other people, serve, help. That's what it's all about. I'm not going to steal. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to envy your stuff. Why? Because I love you. That's reality. That is ultimately what holiness is, because it's going to set us apart. But all it is coming into what reality is. It's just stepping into the reality of light and what light is and what happiness really is. I'm just stepping into a set reality that it does not change. It wouldn't matter what planet I'm on. It wouldn't matter what year I live in. The reality always exists, just like gravity always exists. It's there. I don't have to explain gravity to somebody. Gravity's already there, whether I explain it or not.
Yep.
Gravity was already existing in my life. So are the rules of God, the statements of reality that God has made. They're already in existence before I learned them in Sunday school class, right? Anyway, we hope that you guys all have a great and an awesome week. I hope you had a happy 4th.
Yes.
Here on the 5th, saying it. As you got to get over your holiday weekend. It's the holiday weekend blues, I'm sure, but be encouraged. Just keep on rolling, my friends. Take care.